10 errors you make with narcissists. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I, because of what I am, approach things in a very logical fashion. I'm not swayed by emotion. I have emotions, but they are not as extensive as those of other people. I operate through the application of logic, the application of critical thinking and evidence. My emotions do not get in the way. That is the way that my operating system functions. And this enables me to highlight for you common mistakes that you make in relation to narcissists. Some you may be aware of, others less so. The drivers behind these mistakes stem from a lack of information and understanding about narcissists as a whole, the presence of emotional thinking, habitual behaviors, inability to apply self-discipline and willpower, but the result is the same. These mistakes result in cost to the victim of the narcissist. And therefore, as part of you defending yourself, I'm going to identify these 10 errors that you make so that you can ensure that you're not doing so. And if you are struggling in relation to understanding this, or struggling to prevent yourself from making these errors, then you'll benefit from my analytical and unapologetic approach through consultation. You can join thousands of other people who have benefited from consulting with me to get answers which have shaped their lives and given them freedom. You only need read the testimonials and comments across my YouTube channels that confirm the efficacy and the excellence of my work. Let us dive into these 10 errors. Number 1, believing the narcissist can change. This is a particularly catastrophic mistake that the victim of the narcissist makes, believing that the narcissist has capacity for change. Invariably, the victim with bleeding heart and boundless optimism convinces themselves that their love, their patience, or their endless sacrifice can rewire the essence of the narcissist. Often, the individual doesn't know that they're dealing with a narcissist, but even when they are, and even when they've been told that the narcissist is not capable of genuine permanent change, they still try. The fact is that the narcissist cannot and will not change. Most narcissists are unaware and therefore don't think that there's anything wrong with them. Aware narcissists recognize that their behaviors are problematic to other people but not to them, and therefore see no reason for change. The narcissism is not a coat that we shed when the weather becomes warm. It is the very essence of who we are. Our behaviors are wired into what we are. Deep-seated, pathological, and entrenched. Not only can they not be changed because they form part of our very DNA, but the narcissism itself will defend any attempt to change the narcissist, even if it were possible, which it is not. And therefore, this results in a two-pronged defense. The narcissism will not allow any attempt to cause change, and it simply cannot happen because what the narcissist is fully formed in terms of a defense mechanism. And you continuing to believe that you can cause us to change means that you exhibit a slavish devotion to the narcissist, which only means that you're flagellating yourself against something that is never going to go in the way that you want it to. Number 2, the provision of fuel without restraint. It is often the case that lacking willpower and understanding, the victim of the narcissist provides fuel, your emotional responses, and does so with reckless abandon. Every tear you shed, every angry outburst, every pleading text message is a banquet for the narcissist. Fuel is our lifeblood, the energy that sustains us, that maintains the construct and shields the narcissist from the void within. And yet, you'll invariably pour it forth without restraint. You might recognize that you need to fall silent, but that's not enough. You need to absent yourself, because you still provide fuel in the way that you look at us, your facial expressions, the look in your eye, your body language. That's why grey rock doesn't work. Watch the video of that name. The provision of fuel is what we require. Your tears during devaluation, they delight the narcissist, for they make us feel powerful. Your anger when you're triangulated with another, it empowers us. Your love, offered freely time and time again, is fuel to the narcissist. And the provision of this fuel without restraint means that the narcissist will keep coming back from feeding of you again and again because it's so easy. Number 3, a failure to recognize our kind. Nobody spots us the first time around, and people are frequently caught time and time again. Even when they come across information about narcissism, they can still find themselves ensnared because they fail to reduce their emotional thinking to a negligible level, and they fail to learn how to spot the narcissist. This failure is the undoing of the victim. The narcissist isn't your lover, your friend, or your savior. The narcissist is a construct that's designed to ensnare you, to control you, to draw fuel from you. There are many red flags, but many people don't bother to learn what they are. Or if they do, they fail to understand them properly, and that information then becomes useless because of the presence of emotional thinking. It is axiomatic that you need to recognize our kind because we are so prevalent, and there is a two-pronged approach to doing so. 1. The reduction of your emotional thinking through the imposition and maintenance of a solid no-contact regime in respect of all known narcissists and staying away from hunting grounds in relation to potential fresh narcissists. And secondly, recognizing those red flags and black flags by obtaining correct information. Study this information, reduce your emotional thinking, and then you'll be able to see the predators that the narcissist is, and your ignorance will no longer provide a feast to that narcissist. Number 4, seeking to engage after disengagement. When the narcissist disengages from you, casting you aside like a broken toy, you make the grave error of continuing to engage with us. You may plead, you may bargain, you demand answers, you may issue threats, you may try and bring the narcissist down, you might seek to reclaim the golden period, you might want to understand why the narcissist abandoned you. This is all folly. Disengagement is triggered by one of 5 reasons and is done to protect the narcissist. In a way, the narcissist is giving you a head start because the narcissist is getting rid of you because the narcissist no longer wants you. But rather than you recognize that this is actually advantageous, driven by your emotional thinking and a lack of understanding, you continue to remain in the orbit of the narcissist, which means that the narcissist has no option other than to nullify the threat to control that you pose, and where you've been disengaged from on your painted black, the most likely outcome is that you're going to suffer repeated malign manipulations, making the pain of disengagement all the worse. Even though it pains you, you must come to recognize that when disengagement takes place, the most appropriate thing that you must do is implement no contact. Number 5, falling for the Hoovers. The Hoover is the siren song of the narcissist, designed to assert control over you and potentially gather fuel, character traits, and residual benefits. Sometimes it is simply done as a one-off. Sometimes it might be done time and time again, and in some instances it's done to try and draw you back into the relationship once more, but not always. The narcissist will always return unless you make it so the narcissist cannot. The narcissist will return with promises of change, apologies, or nostalgic reminders of the golden period. You may be softened by hope or weakened by loneliness, which allows you to let us back in. Remember, the Hoover is not a gesture of love. It isn't a gesture of seeking forgiveness. It is simply a tactical response on the part of the narcissist to reassert control once again and extract more fuel. Whether it's a heartfelt letter, a casual text, or appearing at the doorstep with crocodile tears, the intention is the same: to get to those prime aims and use you as the appliance that you are. You might think it's reconciliation. It's actually enslavement. You need to recognize the different Hoovers and ensure that you don't fall for it by ensuring the implementation of a solid no-contact regime. Number 6, underestimating the narcissist. Now, there is no denying that certain narcissists are absolutely fucking useless. But often, there are those that think that they can outsmart and outmaneuver the narcissist. Now, this isn't to say that a narcissist cannot be manipulated. They can. But it's not something you should ever seek to do because it doesn't come naturally to you. And ultimately, you're still playing the game with the narcissist, which means the narcissist is going to win. You'll still be providing fuel. You're likely to expose yourself to a malign response. You're likely to increase the risk of Hoovers. You're going to increase your emotional thinking. Your own emotional thinking, corrupting certain of your traits, causes you to believe that you are in a position to call out the narcissist and expose the narcissist in a way that is wholly effective. You're continuing to engage with the narcissist, and this is a mistake. Whether you wish to confront the narcissist, whether you wish to expose the narcissist, whether you want to try and manipulate the narcissist into a particular position, you're breaking that golden rule by continuing to engage with the narcissist, and thus you underestimate the impact that it has upon you. Number 7, clinging to the golden period. It is typical of many to cling to the memory of the golden period, that blissful phase when we made you feel like the centre of the universe. You believe that it was genuine, that the love that we professed was entirely authentic. This nostalgia is a trap. The golden period is simply an illusion. It's part of the seduction to secure you as a source of fuel and to be controlling. Every compliment, every grand gesture, it was designed to bind you to us. When devaluation occurs, and it will, where you're the intimate partner primary source, you end up chasing that illusion, occasionally fed drips of the drug once more through respite periods, and you are convinced by emotional thinking that you can capture the initial golden period once again. You cannot. There is nothing that you can do to guarantee its return. It is at the behest of the narcissist. The golden period never truly existed. You must let go of this fantasy, or it will keep you tethered to the narcissist to be abused again and again and again. Number 8, allowing guilt to bind you. Guilt is probably one of the greatest allies of the narcissist. As an empathic individual, you are predisposed to feel responsible for others' pain, and this is exploited mercilessly by us. We will blame you for our outburst, our betrayals, our failures, and you end up accepting the burden, convinced that you are the one that has done wrong. This guilt keeps you engaged. It corrupts your desire to fix and heal that empathic trait as you strive to fix what we have broken, driven by your guilt. Understand this. You are not responsible for the actions of the narcissist. The rage, the infidelity, the cruelty, the punishing behaviors, you did not cause them, although we say you do. These are the products of the narcissism, not your shortcomings. The narcissist will weaponize your guilt to keep you compliant, and you need to recognize this, and to recognize that it is generated by emotional thinking, and that you ought to apply logic to recognize you should not feel guilty, to free yourself from it, and thus weaken the hold of the narcissist over you. Number 9, seeking closure from the narcissist. You believe that gaining closure from the narcissist will bring you peace. You demand answers, an explanation for why the narcissist treated you in the way that he or she has. This pursuit is both futile and dangerous. The narcissist will never ever give you closure. You must make it yourself. Your questions, why did you cheat? Why did you get rid of me? Are simply opportunities for the narcissist to twist the knife further. You may be gaslighted, where we blame shifts, claiming it was all your fault, or there might be vague promises offered to keep you hooked. Either way, your question for closure simply fuels the narcissist, keeps you under control, and causes your emotional thinking to stay high. You prolong the pain. You never gain closure from the narcissist. You create it yourself. Number 10. Neglecting the no-contact regime. The final and most egregious mistake is your failure to implement and maintain the no-contact regime. No contact is the only defense against our kind, a fortress that starves the narcissist of fuel and protects your emotional sovereignty. Yet time and time again you waver. You waver as a consequence of not understanding what total no contact looks like. You fall victim to the emotional thinking telling you can't implement that when actually you can. You fail to apply logic. You are misinformed about what the narcissist may do. The implementation of GOSO, get out and stay out, through the no-contact regime is one of the most important things that you can do in relation to the narcissist, and by failing to implement it, it is also one of the most catastrophic mistakes that you can make. My work sets out in detail precisely how you should implement this no-contact, and you should strive for that each and every occasion in relation to the narcissist. 10 errors that you commit in relation to the narcissist, driven by misunderstanding, a lack of information, the presence of emotional thinking, and the manipulations of the narcissist. Consider yourself now warned. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.